Welcome to the University of Iowa Neuromarketing channel. My name is Ryan Crockett, and today I'm going to explain visual binning. In this video, we're going to learn how to do the actual visual binning transformation, and in turn recognize the trade-off between size of your data and the workability. Visual binning in whole is useful to mitigate negative effects from a large skew in your data. So we're going to start this process by actually creating the visual bin. So we'll go to Transform, Visual Binning. What we want to do with this information is see if there is a strange correlation between household income and their primary vehicle price category. So we're going to find the household income and vehicle income category. So we'll use the scale variables. So there are both of them. Go ahead and click OK. So as you can see here, this is the range from the household income that's been reported. So it spans all the way up to $1.14 million, and it starts at 9,000. So that's a very large skew, which makes data sort of harder to read. What the visual bin is going to do is kind of cut it into different chunks or groups, and we can analyze it as such. So what we can just do now is put names for each of these because we will need to access them. So let's do income bin. And we'll go over here and do car bin. After we do that, we're going to make the cut points. The cut points are what separates it into different percentiles. And you can do it in equal widths. The percentile is the number of cut points or standard deviations. So this is if you want to do specific percentages, but right now we're just going to use quintiles. So since we want quintiles, we'll do 4 cut points. And you can type either the width percentage or the amount of cuts. So I just typed in 4 there. Then as you can see, here are our quintiles. There's 20, 20, 20, 20, and then the final 20. So we still have to do that for household income. Since we're going to compare the two, we'll also do quintiles. Let's do the same thing. These are going to be a lot smaller here, mainly because we have a lot more data up top there. We can name the different quintiles if we'd like, but we don't really need to do that here, so we're going to go ahead and just click OK. And then it'll say how many variables it creates. Since we did 2, it'll do 2. May take a second. Alright. So after we did that, the variables should be created. As we can see, here's the income and the car binned variables. They should also show up over there. Yep, there they are. So each one of these is the corresponding quintile that it falls in. As you can see, most of them right now are evened. They are the same. But once we actually conduct the analysis, you'll see that some of those do not add up. From here, we're going to want to do a crosstab analysis just to kind of see what the data looks like. So we're going to go descriptive over to crosstabs. In rows, we're going to want to put the income binned variable. So that'll be here. And then in columns, we'll put the car variable. So then we'll just click OK. Alright, and what this is showing is that people in the household income first quintile and people of the first quintile for the price of their primary vehicle mainly add up. So the first 20% and the first 20% are similar. But the reason for this analysis is for these numbers over here. So what this is telling us is that people with the first quintile of household income, some of them anyway buy a car that costs something that someone who is in the second quintile should be able to afford. So in a sense, they're buying a car that's more expensive for their budget. The purpose of this analysis is to see if people are being frugal with their car purchases in relation to how much money they make. And as you can see, there is a stretch, which means some people buy up in the next quintile and some people go down to the lower quintile. We used visual binning for this because of the large data skew that was in the household income. Without it, we wouldn't be able to find this type of trend in this data. So from here, we saw that people do reach up and people do reach down, so to speak, when buying a car. So now we just want to see what the maximums and minimums are so we can actually quantify the amount of money they make in household income. To do that, we're going to go to Analyze and Compare Means. We're going to do the means here. For an independent variable, we're going to use the car price binned, so we'll do that there. Then for a dependent variable, we're going to put the price of the primary vehicle and not the binned. So we'll use that. Since we are looking for how wide of a range each quintile is, we're going to want to put minimums and maximums. We don't really care about this other stuff, so we can get rid of it. I guess we'll leave mean. So we'll add those two. Hit continue. And then we'll hit OK. So these numbers are just for us. So what this is saying is the first quintile is going to have, so what we're using this for is just to see where the actual bins start. So these are the prices of the cars from the first bin, second, third, and so on. So keeping this in mind, we're going to go over and we're going to analyze again. So we're going to go to compare means again. We're going to do means as well. So we're going to get rid of the means that we just did, put those away. So what we previously saw was how much the cars should be spent as a percentage of household income, but now we're going to see how much they actually are spent. So for our independent variable, we're going to do the income binned, and then we're going to do the price of the primary vehicle in the scale. And it should have our minimum and maximum from before, which it does. So we'll just hit OK. So what we have here, I'll delete these so we can put these side to side. This is the data that shows how much the bins of the cars cost, and then this is the data that shows how much people actually spend. So as we can see, they'll spend less than they should in the corresponding bins from their cars when it's relating to their household income. To analyze it a little further, so some people that should only be spending $18,000 to $27,000 on their car, they're actually spending at a minimum of 17.9. So some people are a little bit more fiscally responsible and they buy a car that they can afford. And then some people spend even more than they should when relating to their household income. So again, when using visual binning, you'll typically use it when you have data that is extremely skewed to one side, but you still want to have some more amenable data to do proper analyses with. Thank you for watching this tutorial from the University of Iowa Neuromarketing channel. For more tutorials, subscribe to our channel.